Hey, how about it, race fans? Richard Allen of motorsportsreport.net coming at you with another Rich's Ramblings. And as you can see, we've got T-shirts in now, so we'll maybe be trying to come up with a way to get some of those T-shirts out there and in circulation here over the next few days and weeks. And also, just an update on the website. We're still using the Blogspot website for now just to hold the content, but my son, who's working on building it, he's made a lot of progress over the last few days, so I think we're getting closer and closer to motorsportsreport.net actually being a live thing. It should be coming up here pretty soon, but for now we'll just keep using the blog spot and keep doing these video messages as well, which we'll be continuing those once the website's up. For now, they're just going on the Facebook page, but maybe we'll find a new home for them once we get the website up and running. But since the last time I came at you with one of these, we talked about the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series and how it used the playoff format. We talked about whether or not the champion from a playoff format is a legitimate champion or not. Well, since then, the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series has introduced a little bit of a change to the format. You know, last year, of course, they had the top four drivers coming into the final race of the year, Eldora Speedway, the Dirt Track World Championship. Had those four drivers to race it out. Whoever finished highest among those four would be the season champion. As we know, that came out to be Hudson O'Neal. There were more than a few people who didn't like the way things played out there. They didn't like the format with the one race winner take all type format that it had. You know, Ricky Thornton Jr. had such an amazing season last year. Had built up a 500 plus point lead, had won all those races, and then wound up not being the champion. And that didn't set very well with some folks. So Lucas Oil folks have gone back to the drawing board and have created a addendum to the format that they used last year. Instead of it being a one race format this year, it's going to be a 7-race championship deciding format. So after they've run their races at Knoxville Raceway and the Lucas Oil Late Model Nationals there at Knoxville, for the final 7 races of the year, whoever among the top four, it's whoever comes out of Knoxville in the top 4 will go into those 7 races as a contest to see who gets the most points out of the top 4 will wind up being crowned as the champion. I think the hope is that fans will be a little bit more accepting of this format maybe than the last one, because at least if you were to have one bad race, you can recover from it over 7 races rather than one bad race and you're just done like it was last year with the one race at Eldora. But the 7 races will come at the Brownstown Speedway up in Indiana, Atomic Raceway in Ohio, Pittsburgh's Pennsylvania Motor Speedway, East Bay Raceway Park, which I believe will be the grand finale for East Bay down there in the Tampa area, and then finally at Eldora Speedway with a 100,000 to win Dirt Track World Championship once again being the final. But like I said, over those 7 races that'll occur at those 5 different tracks, those top four coming out of Knoxville will be just piling up the points in an attempt to become the champion that way. I think what happened here, as far as that's concerned, the one race format that was a big jump all at once, to go from using a full season worth of points to all of a sudden just saying one race is going to decide it all. That was a bitter pill for some people to swallow. So I think we're going to try something different here. And when it comes down to it, you know, I mean, as I say all the time, we live in a real world here. And whether you like the format, don't like the format, don't care about the format, whichever one it is, what matters is not who likes it or doesn't like it. What matters is who's paying for it. And they've got Big River Steel and several other big sponsors who want to put the money out there. You know, I guess it comes down to realistic. You know, Tim McCready won the championship in 2021. He made $75,000. Last year, Hudson O'Neal won the championship and made $200,000. You don't have to be much of a mathematician to figure out that's a pretty big difference. And according to Rick Schwally, the series director of Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series, that would not have happened if they hadn't changed the format. So I guess bottom line is, when it came down to it, those 4 drivers Didn't mind the format because it gave them a chance to win more money than had ever been won before. And that's, like I said, we live in a real world, and that's what it boils down to. Whoever those sponsors were apparently weren't willing to pay to jack up the points fund without there being some sort of a change. And of course, the streamers are involved too. Flow Racing wants it to be an event that everybody wants to tune into. And I've never been one who cared that much about championships, really. But I've always been more interested in who wins the individual races, and I think a lot of fans are like that too. But it just gives something else to promote. Hey, you need to watch this event because. And sometimes I guess that does kind of drag in the casual fan that may not have paid much attention. And I believe that's where, that's why NASCAR made the change that it made back in 2003. Matt Kenseth had the championship won before he ever even showed up at the last race, and TV networks didn't like that, so they had to change, and they've gone through various changes throughout NASCAR's last 20 years of working that. As I've said before, and I know a lot of people are resistant to this, you have to divorce yourself from the old business model. It just is not there anymore. Racing is not driven by ticket sales. It just isn't. It's driven by, if you're talking about NASCAR, it's driven by TV money. They made $7.7 billion from their last TV deal, which will go into effect starting in 2025. So, you cannot turn your back on that kind of money. Now, as far as the streaming services go with dirt racing, there's going to have to be something more equitable worked out. I've talked to track owners. I've talked to various people who have told me that they need some sort of a system where they're getting a little bit more. NASCAR, the tracks do make money off the TV deal. There's a percentage, and I'm going to address that in a piece I'm going to be writing here soon. And the tracks and dirt racing definitely want that to happen. We're seeing more and more track closures. I just read something, I haven't verified it yet, but I just read of a track not too far from my area that's going to be closing down next year. If that proves to be true, it'd be yet another track that's going away. So you have all these rumors about this one may go, it may not go. Somehow, some way, they've got to come up with a way for tracks to make up for ticket sales, because, as I said, ticket sales are becoming less and less a part of the economic model that racing runs by. And you can like that or not like it. It's just reality. It's just what it is. So anyway, but Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series changing now. They're going away from the one race format. They only used that 1 year. I think it would have been interesting to see what would happen if Ricky Thornton had gone ahead and won the championship. If he comes out and wins the Dirt Track World Championship, or just beats the other three and wins the championship, if there would be as much backlash. I think there would be some, but I don't think there would be quite as much as there has been. So anyway, I guess we'll see, next year if somebody's having a Ricky Thornton type season in 2024 like he did in 2023. Over 7 races, as Schwally said in the release that announced the new change. The cream will rise to the top over 7 races, you would think. So anyway, we'll watch and see what comes out of this, but it may become more popular, may become less popular, or like I said, there's some people out there just don't really care. But we'll figure it all out as we go. But until then, this is Richard Allen, motorsportsreport.net, and I will see you at the track.